Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can see, is a little bit of a different setup. We are in the living room today, and I just felt like coming out here because my roommates were at home and I wanted some extra space because it does get a little cramped filming in my living room, filming in my bedroom. So yeah, welcome to my living room. Today's video, as you can see from the title, is just going to be me telling you what I have found to be the true top 10 differences in high school and college. Now, with graduation coming up, a lot of you are probably curious as to what college has to offer because probably a lot of people have told you, oh, it's not that different, you're gonna be just fine, but then it kind of leaves you when you find out it's so different. It makes you like, they lied to me, because there is such a true difference in high school and college. At least for me there was. I grew up in a super small town, went to a super small high school, and so coming to Auburn University, which is where I go now, it was just such a dramatic difference, and I didn't know how to handle it because I've said in previous videos, nobody prepared me for what I was getting into. Like, people kind of told me one or two things, but I was on my own. I didn't really know anybody. I knew a few people coming here, but I just kind of rolled with the punches. You know, I kind of came here by myself not knowing what to expect, and I was in for like a rude awakening because I didn't know anybody or anything. So this video I was just making because I want you to really know what the differences are in high school and college, and I don't want you to be shaken up. Now, it's a great difference. It's just a lot to take in, going from being a senior in high school and being in that bubble to going out to college. And now you may not even be going to college. You may be staying at home to go to college, or you may be going to a junior college. For me, I did move about 2.5 to 3 hours away, so it was a little bit different, but anybody can watch this video because I do want you to know what it is like getting out of high school and going into the real world of college. The very first difference in high school and college that I have noticed to be true, and this is probably the top difference, you've heard this before, is the level of freedom that you have. Now, in high school, you are in that bubble, like I said. You, depending on your family dynamic, you may live with your parents, grandparents, family members, but you're always kind of like controlled, and everybody kind of knows where you are at all times. It may be different for you, but most of the time that is true. Whereas in college, like especially if you move off, you're kind of on your own. You're kind of like your own parent. Now, like your parents or family members or whoever probably still checks up on you, but it's just so much freedom. Like in high school, you may have had to go to bed at a certain time every night. In college, like, you still may be told to do that, but you don't really have to because no one is actually telling you to. And now I found it to be true. Like in high school, I didn't want to go to bed by 10 o'clock every night, even though I was forced to. But in college, like if I can get in bed by 9 o'clock, I'm living it's a great day. You definitely realize that the more freedom you have, the more responsible you become. That's for me. Like, you really kind of gotta, like, big girl and big boy, grow up and realize that you are accounting for yourself now, and you kind of just you gotta take that freedom and treat it like you're an adult. Now, don't abuse that freedom because you will find yourself like flunked out of college from partying your way out or not going to class. Now, take that freedom and be a big boy, be a big girl, and just really control yourself. Now, the second big difference in high school and college is the schedule. Now, for my classes at Auburn, it's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday you will take a 50-minute class, and Tuesday, Thursday you will take an hour and 15-minute class. And now, it's not that for every single class, but that's how all of my classes have been so far, unless you have like a lab one day of the week. Now, in high school, most schools have either periods or blocks, and I had periods. Like, we had 7 periods when I was in high school, and you go to that class every single day of the week. And if you do a mini-mester at a university, it is every single day of the week, but during a regular semester, it's typically not every single day of the week, unless it's just like a crazy important class. But I kind of like it better because it gives you more time between classes. Like, you may not want to see that professor every day. Good news, you don't have to. But it does mean that during those classes you are having to obtain more information, and you are more responsible for doing work outside of the classroom. Whereas in high school, I feel like you did it every day, so you didn't have so much to catch up on. But in college, you kind of on your own with that schedule. Like, you kind of gotta, you know, grow up. That brings us into our next point, which are the expectations in the classroom. Now, in college, professors don't really care if you're ready for a test. They don't care if you did your homework. They're not going to be like, now little Sally, did you study for this test? Are you ready to take it? No, like everybody's got to take it. Whereas in high school, I feel like especially if you went to a smaller high school, your teachers may have been like, now y'all just don't seem ready for this test, so we're going to push it off. In college, that's probably not true. Very rarely will you find a professor that actually like has time to care, because in my classes, I've taken classes as little as like 20 students, but then I've taken them as big as like 350 students. So that teacher doesn't have that time to form an individual relationship with each person and make sure that little Sally is doing her homework and studying and staying in tip-top shape. So you kind of gotta raise your expectations for yourself. Now in high school, I was like a smart kid. I was valedictorian, but coming to college, valedictorian, schmaledictorian, who's that girl? I don't remember Claire. So my expectations, I had to raise them for myself, because I was I was so smart in high school that I didn't think I was going to have to change, but I really did have to step up and become a lot more organized, because my teachers weren't looking out for me as much, and they may not put in your grades until the end of the semester if they don't feel like it. So you really have to like control everything yourself. Again, you got to boss up and grow up, be a big girl, be a big boy. Now our next point in the difference of high school and college is the food. Now in high school, my mom I was very fortunate because she did cook almost every single day, or at least a couple times a week. Now in college, especially if you move off, you are your own chef. You have to act as that, and you have to provide your own food. Sometimes it's like you're a savage, like you gotta be like, where's my next meal coming from? I don't know. And so that's something you really do need to learn. Well, if you're in a dorm, you may not even have a kitchen. And so I kind of like snuck in a toaster oven and like a little pan. I don't really think that was allowed. I don't remember, but my freshman and sophomore year, I lived on campus, and so I had to eat a lot of just like easy food to make. I'm not a big ramen noodle person. I don't do that. I would get like salad and eat it. I actually lost weight my freshman and sophomore year, but then junior year when I moved in the house, a house off campus, I did gain a little bit of weight. I never really gained the freshman 15, but the food, it's all about like what you eat. And so like a lot of people will be like, oh, you're gonna gain the freshman 15 or the sophomore 20. That's up to you and what you decide to eat. Yeah, I have gained a little bit of weight, but it's happy weight, so it's okay. Yeah, so just kind of be prepared to kind of learn how to cook if you have a kitchen, or learn how to budget your money to pay for your own food, because it's very much different than it is in high school. Now our next point, going off of like food is different, your home is different. You are not living with your family anymore. Unless you're staying back home to go to school, that's okay. But if you move off to a university and you either get random roommates, or you may know people that you may be like, oh, I get to live with my best friend this year. It may be not all rainbows and butterflies. You may think because she's your best friend, y'all are going to get along all the time and it's going to be amazing. But it's really, it really is a challenge to live with people that aren't your family, because you have to be extra respectful of their privacy and like their space, because that's their home as well. Like you can't be throwing your stuff all around and treating it like you may would your own room, especially if you share a room with a person. Fortunately, I haven't had to do that. My freshman year, I lived in the Village at Auburn, which is like 4 individual bedrooms with 2 bathrooms on each end, and then a living room and a little small kitchen area with no actual like stove or oven. And so I got my own bedroom. Then sophomore year, I moved into South Donahue, which is also an on-campus residence hall, and it was 2 bedrooms. You had your own bathroom, a little kitchen area, and a little living room area. And so I still have my own bedroom. And this year I live in a house where it's 4 bedroom, 4 bathroom, and we do have a kitchen and a living room and like other stuff. But you just gotta understand that like living with your family, even if you don't live with your family back home, or living whoever you grew up living with and then living with roommates, it could be great or horrible. Now I've never had a bad roommate. I got so blessed, but I've heard of people that had like the boogeyman as their roommate. Freshman year, I got some of my best friends out of the random roommates that I was given. And then sophomore year, I had a really sweet girl. This year, I've had 3 amazing roommates. But just be kind of respectful of them. Be prepared for anything. I do recommend getting random roommates. Now, you may have a best friend and you may be set like, y'all are going to live together. That may not work out. I don't know. But I do recommend random roommates if you're unsure, because you may end up having maybe meeting your future bridesmaids and your future sisters. But again, if you have a friend that you want to live with, do that. But even if it's a bad roommate that you end up getting paired with, more memories and more stories to tell. And so that kind of goes into our next point. The people are another big difference in high school and college. Now in high school, again, you are trapped in that bubble. You see the same people every day, whether you have a class of 1,000 people or a class of 30 like I did. My class being so small in high school, I knew everything about everybody, and so I was like, you know, you were just like kind of in like this bubble. But in college, you were going to meet so many people with so many different backgrounds, beliefs, morals, values, and you kind of have to just be courteous of that, whether you agree with them or not. I've met people of different political parties that have been my best friend. I've met people of different beliefs that have been my best friends, and you just kind of gotta decide that you are going to be the mature person, and don't ever stray away from your values and your beliefs and things that you were raised as, unless like you were against that. I don't know, but I definitely stayed true to myself, stayed true to my beliefs. Like you just kind of have to keep that in mind, that you're not always going to meet people that are just like you, especially if you move from a small town to a big city. There's a lot of people out there that you may not have known existed, but you got to always be respectful of that and understand that the Lord loves everybody, and so should you. Love God, love people. You just got to really be prepared to meet new people and be understanding. Now, you don't have to meet somebody that's polar opposite of you and be like, oh, Claire said I need to be friends with everybody. No, you don't have to be friends with them. Just be respectful. Now, another point that I have found to be so like dramatically different from high school and college are the opportunities that I have been given. Now in high school you have like a certain amount of clubs and organizations you can join. My high school only probably had like 10 to 15, whereas in college at Auburn there are more than 500 clubs that you can join. You can join sororities, you can join honor societies, you can join so many different clubs, intramural teams. You know, the opportunities are like unlimited. You can get internships and co-ops in college where you may have to travel off, whereas like in high school you didn't do that, and now you don't have to travel off for these opportunities. Like there are so many on-campus opportunities and ways to get involved, to meet people and become happy, and just really like find your true self. And so take advantage of those opportunities that will be given to you in college. Don't let those pass you by. A lot of them will hit you like right in your freshman year, like do you want to join a sorority or not? Do you want to join all these new freshman clubs or not? You just kind of got to make that decision and really look into it. Look at what your school has to offer and see like what clubs and organizations may be right for you. For me, the best thing that I've done since I went to Auburn was become a pink rep, and that's more like an individual thing. Like there's only 2 in the entire university, and so I got really fortunate to be able to do that because I realized that the sorority thing was not really my thing, and like these bigger clubs were not really my thing. I kind of thrive in more like individual things or like smaller groups, and so everybody's different, so you just gotta take advantage of those opportunities. And now that kind of goes into our next point. The next point that is different is going from the opportunities are the clubs. Now I was just saying that the clubs in high school and college are different, but the clubs in Auburn, that kind of goes with the people. They're very different. Like SGA at your high school was like one thing, but SGA in college is like the biggest thing that you can probably join. Now there are, like I said, 500 plus clubs at Auburn. There are clubs for literally everything. I'm pretty sure there's like a pizza eating club, a plant growing club. There's a club for like there's political party clubs. There's clubs for like whatever your major is. You just really need to take advantage of all of those clubs. Now opportunities and clubs, they really have gone together, but the clubs are just so different. And now, like I said, join a club. Like make it a challenge to at least be in one club every single year, because you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know. You can meet your future husband, your future wife, your future best friend, your maid of honor. You never know who you're gonna meet, so take advantage of those clubs that you can join. Also, another thing with those clubs, there are clubs, like I said, specifically for your major, and so you really may need to do that because they're definitely good for resume boosting, to make you kind of stand out for your future job that you may be applying for. So definitely look at clubs that are focused on your major, but then also look at clubs that are focused on your like passions, and kind of like pull those together. You definitely have the time to be involved in a lot. And also, I got a job my freshman or sophomore year. It was the end of my freshman year, my sophomore year, and I almost consider that to be a club because I've met really cool people from doing that, and then also I've gotten really cool opportunities from that. And so you may want to look at getting an on-campus job, because like in high school you couldn't really do that, and so in college I've kind of learned that having an on-campus job really has like benefited me because I don't have to like drive to wherever I have to work unless it's like on the weekends. I can take the bus, and so yeah, I consider that a club as well. Now, our next to last difference in high school and college are your priorities will change. Now, your priorities are going to change whether you think they will or not. Now, my priority in high school was probably to be popular, honestly, even though I was not popular. But my priority in college has been to get as much sleep as I can get and to get fit and eat healthy, because I'm so tempted to not get fit and not get healthy. And so you have to like argue with yourself, like you got to make it a priority. You got to make it a priority to honestly hang out with people, because you'll be so busy all the time. Like I take 18 hours of classes, I work 20 hours a week, I'm a pink rep, I'm involved in like a bajillion clubs, and so you got to make it a priority to actually see your friends. Whereas in like high school you saw your best friends every single day, in college you're not going to do that unless you live with them. So you have to literally, I have a planner where I have to plan out when I'm going to see people and how long I'm going to see them for, because you got to prioritize everything. Very last thing that I have found to be the biggest difference in high school and college, the biggest change is yourself. Now you be thinking like, Claire, that's what you say for the last one? Yes, because you will change so much, and you may stay true to your values and your beliefs and your morals and all that, but you will still change. Like you will definitely, I have become more open-minded about other people. I have been became more considerate, because I was like, I have a brother, but I was like the only girl in my family. I've always had my own bedroom, bathroom. I've had to share a bathroom in college. I've had to share a house with people that I didn't even know. And so I've definitely changed a lot as a person, but I've kind of done it for the better. I'm much happier, I feel like, in college than I was in high school, because in high school I was so like insecure, and I was just going through a lot in high school. I'm still going through a lot in college, but I've learned to more embrace it, and I found people that are like me. Whereas in high school, you see, like I have some of my best friends to this day are still from high school, and it's so not true when people tell you that, oh, you're gonna lose all of your best friends from high school as soon as you move off to college. Like, no, I still talk to my best friends from high school like every single day. And so that goes back to prioritize, and you got to prioritize like what's important to you. If you want to go home on a weekend, you got to make that a priority. And so yeah, you will definitely change in college, even though people will be like, oh, she's the same. Like, no, you're gonna grow, and it's for the better. And college is such an amazing place. No matter where you go to school, if you stay at home and go to school, do online classes, it's different from seeing like your best friends every day. And it's really sad. Like, I can remember on graduation day, I cried so much because I was like, one, this is the last time me and all my classmates are going to be in the same room together, and two, it's the last time that I'm going to see my best friends every single like weekday. And so that was a very big difference. But you were going to meet so many people in college. I've met people that I want to be like my bridesmaids, and I want to be there for me through like when I have my kids. And still haven't found the husband yet. Not really looking for that though. That's another thing, difference in high school and college. You think that you're going to walk in magically and find your husband sitting there in your first class that you take in college, because people always talk about that. That ain't true for me. I don't know. You may want to watch another video to get a tip on how to find a husband, because I don't know. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video. These are just the top 10 differences that I have found to be true as to be different from high school and college. And now with all of you, maybe juniors or seniors, people getting ready to graduate in high school, good luck to you. I hope everything works out for you in college. And leave a comment, let me know anything that you may else want to know about college. I'm definitely going to probably do what kind of college takes out of you, and what's expected out of you in college, and like a day in the life. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. I appreciate you. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and leave me a comment. Let me know something that you want me to talk about later. So thank you so much. Have a great day.